Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Market, where every day we discuss all things to do with the modern market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, and how to make some or a lot of money, and ideally not lose all of the money that you have made. That is one of the things on my mind at the moment. Loaded up for discussion today, we have crypto steady as silver now is breaking all-time highs around $50. Zcash, our favorite privacy coin, is up 35% to $236. That's the 3.8 billion FDV. As the privacy narrative continues, might not be our favorite privacy coin though, because Railgun is also up 90% in the last 24 hours. We will discuss if we like privacy or not in the abstract and in the terms of value for a coin in a little bit. And finally, Litecoin is up 11% to $129 as well. 9 bill FDV. We've got the latest on price action on crypto and NFTs in general as well. Plus a general discussion as usual to close out the week today. I've got Legendary and Bread in the co-host seats with me. We are ready to get into it. But just a reminder, friends, before we do, nothing that we say here, unfortunately, is any type of advice, financial or otherwise. This market is very risky. We do not know anything for sure, so please proceed with caution and exercise your own judgment at all times. With that out of the way, Bread, it's Friday. It's the 10th of October. How are you doing, my man?
I don't know if you were watching the modern market chat. I'm doing good. Like, things are busy. We're careening towards stuff for what?
You're gonna take this into the trader arc again, right?
I am, bro.
You're
talking about my well-being. You're talking about my well-being. My well-being is now impacted by price. Okay. I'm the person everyone wanted me to be. They keep
welcome to the life we've been living the last 5 years already.
Y'all trying to like, oh, Brett, price up. I'm like, I don't care, guys. Like, I don't care. I'm in spot and chill. Now I'm a trader. All right. Now I care. Every percent impacts my net worth a little more than it did yesterday.
This is a great arc. Okay,
look, I'm learning, man. Like, so I think it's kind of fun to like share some stuff with other people, because I'm sure other people are like trying to do the same journey as me. Yeah, so
of course,
yeah. So, but
especially on the developments, side, to be fair, Brad, because
I'm in, man.
Okay, fine. Everyone's been trading stuff for a while here, but especially if you came in 2021, I don't know how many people did perps. Like, I did not do perps for ages and ages and ages, and Hyperliquid has made me do perps a bit. So, like, yeah, you're on an arc which a lot of people are learning for the first time as well. So, sorry, I interrupted you. What did you want to say about this arc of yours?
No, you're good. It's like, so I didn't at all. Like, I don't even, and to be honest, I think I totally skipped the spot trader thing. I have no desire for it. I think I enjoy perps more, and I think I'm probably better at it for some reason. Anyways, famous last words. I've now, and like, I'm going to follow that up with like, bro, someone fucking hunted me last night and yesterday twice now. I'm pretty sure, like, I thought I was too small for like being hunted, but I have now had 2 distinct instances where I've not top ticked, but like my stop loss and or my liquidation point has been like the point that has been like reached for over the course of a 30-minute window. So
interesting.
Yeah, like, I'm still green across the board on all my positions, but like some of my positions have had that happen to them. So I'm just learning to be more cautious, because I was always just like, yeah, like, bro, no one cares about me. I'm just a little dolphin man swimming in the ocean. Go after the whales. We're looking for 7-fig, 8-fig positions. No, they're going for little Brady boy. So maybe I'm shifting to a sex now, because like this on-chain shit, I'm not having a great time.
Yeah, maybe you are, this whole transparent.
Yeah, I'm James Wynn. James Wynn of modern market.
James Wynn of modern market. Gotta keep that. That's nice.
It's
Ledge,
fun,
how are things going your side? Are you still perping? You were talking the other day that maybe you were gonna do some personal self-control and stop the perps. What is your stance there at the moment?
Yeah, perps have been stopped for me. The monad volatility wasn't fun to experience.
Have you noticed the somber, the contrast in tone of Bread and Legendary when it came to the perps discussion? That just went so somber so fast.
I feel Bread being hunted down on the perps. I traded probably. So I did trade I don't know, 20 times in and out of my like shorts and longs and Monad. Got a bit crazy on that. Overall was still profitable, but in the end got liquidated. And I was like, what am I actually doing here? I just spent like 2 hours in a row clicking buttons, closing, opening positions, being completely degenerate on that. I think the perps that become more interesting for me is the thing that Brett also was speaking about, I have to say, before he entered his trader arc, which was the low levy long-term perp on
Yeah.
gold long or BTC long. So that becomes maybe more interesting for me. But this like a crazy intra-minute uh, perp trading, aka gambling, is not one for me. But also, no, I say that knowingly that once Mega ETH goes live and I'll have Euphoria, which I'm an investor and advisor in, full disclosure there, but just being able to tap and trade, quote unquote, trade 5-second charts, I'll be back to the button clicking because I'll enjoy that again. But for now, in all seriousness, I think there's better things for me in my portfolio to do than the like very, very short term intra day perp trading on Monad and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting to get just a variety of perspectives here. Brett's going a little bit more on the perp stuff, Legendary stepping back, doing some other things. From my perspective, I am similarly stopping for a bit and trying to be really strategic in the allocation of stable coins. I still quite like having a short on at the moment. Like I just don't think any time that we have gone to all-time highs, and you know, we crashed again yesterday. I was in 4 hours of, I felt like I was in 4 hours of calls. I don't know if I was after the show yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to put one on. But I feel like I'd be pretty comfortable, and don't send the market lower now, but I feel like pretty comfortable putting another one on here again, just for insurance. I don't think, as we're going through all-time highs at the moment, that we are doing so confidently. We're getting rejected pretty aggressively from all of those. We're in the midst of BNB season. Litecoin is pumping. Zcash is pumping. Like, these things have happened before, and it's never a good sign for where we are in the cycle. And I get the whole argument that there's some extension of the cycle now, which, by the way, guys, everyone always loves to say all the time. Last time around in 2021, it was that we're in a super cycle. Cycles don't apply anymore. Don't worry about any type of perception of up and down. It's just up only. We literally had a show called Up Only last cycle. And then you realize that it's not up only. So again, I think we have a very reasonable chance to go higher, specifically in Bitcoin and other stuff. But what a great time to put on a short as insurance. This is my thinking. Put on the short as insurance. No, I'm not telling anyone to do anything. This is my thinking. What a great time to put on the short at all-time highs to insure against a turnaround which is unforeseen for whatever reason. And if we go through all-time highs and way past it and you get liquidated, okay, fair enough. I feel like it's still a good strategic positioning to take when you have a medium to longer to a bigger portfolio. If you've got a smaller portfolio, you'd have to build a bit more conviction, I think, in that short thesis, which I think could be a reasonable one. Or you just go, you know, you keep playing the different things. You try to go all in on Zcash if you think that thing is right, depending on what narrative you think is best or what the thesis is immediately. So those are some reflections from me. So that's the only kind of perp I would really be doing at the moment. And of course, you've got all these various launches coming. So many things are going to market in the next, I don't know, the next few weeks. You know, do you want to play in all of those? Potentially. So there could be some very obvious things. We said Monad was maybe too high at 13, 14, 15. That would have been a very nice one to do, although these pre-markets are a bit risky, as Legendary found out as well. So, Brad, do you want to come in here?
Yeah, we had a mention of this the other day. I think it's important to reiterate, and then so I'm going to reiterate that, and then I'm going to talk about your short position stuff. So the reiteration is just that, you know, I think it's important for us to talk about like how much of our portfolio we're actually doing this stuff to.
Yes.
And again, I sit up here and I'm like, oh, I'm having fun. It's a blast. I'm winning. I'm doing whatever. Guys, this is like a quarter of my on-chain portfolio, which of one of my on-chain wallets, which is a quarter of my net worth, which is a quarter of my, so like, guys, this is, 5-10% of my portfolio that I'm sloshing around, having a good time, doing whatever. Like I am not dialing up because I'm a big trader main winning it all. So just understand that it's fun. I'm learning, I'm using it as a learning tool. And the second is like, as I develop this stuff, because I have never done it before and I don't have a framework for how I like to think about this stuff. I've never lived experiences on how the market is behaving and how I want to be positioned for given moments, et cetera, et cetera. I've found that I, like you, I actually like having a constant short on something. So like I always, whether I'm bullish on the market or bearish, I want to find an asset within the market that I am bearish on and I think it's going to go down, so that I always have a long short pair going, so that like if something's dog shit and I think it's going to go down, like regardless of an uptrending market, because either the market forgot about it or whatever, I'm trying to isolate these things. An example would be Avantis. Avantis is a token that is post meta, that is like the fourth iteration of a thing that is hardly used, that everyone FOMO'd into. Like, so it's a prime candidate for me for something that's probably just going to trend lower for a while. Or 0.0, right? Just launched, whatever, just launched, FUD on the timeline. No one's using the thing yet. They don't understand it. It's its own vertical, and that thing's been bleeding down. So like, those are two assets that I think, either in an uptrending market or a downtrending market, is probably just going to bleed out for a while. Or like just like an old dead meme coin associated to another collection, whatever. So if I get too over my skis and I get bullish and I do a long on Bitcoin because I think all-time highs, we're going to keep going, whatever, I like to also have a short on something that I am not fond of, for two reasons. One, because now it splits up my exposure to any given asset. So if I do get overexposed and can't, top up my collateral, and then, can bring my liquidation levels down, whatever. If I get caught off sides, I can manage one thing. Even if I get liquidated, it's only a portion of my shit, so I can compartmentalize it. And then in that event where the market tanks, right? We have a huge red day, everything's going down. The things that go downer are the things that are already really bad, that everyone's going, oh, this is probably the thing I need to cut because it was going down in an uptrending market. I need to double cut it in a downtrending market, which means I'm double in profits. Like I can usually use that to balance out my portfolios. And like, that's what I had going on last night, but I'm learning I need to shorten my windows of like attention, because I had a long and a short going and they hunted me on my long. Had I just like closed out the short that was doing well and is like up very good in that same period, I would have had the collateral. I wouldn't have had a liquidation level at that thing. So like, it's part of the education I'm doing, but I think the pairing is something that I'm getting more comfortable with.
I like that idea. I like it. Very interesting to hear that kind of articulated. I think people will find that helpful. Okay, let's get into it, guys. Like getting those different set of perspectives and different set of reflections to start it out. Shout out to Coach in the YouTube comments. Lay of the day. I like that. Okay, getting into the price action today to get you up to speed with everything that you need to know, starting with the majors as usual. Despite people, I don't know, I thought sentiment was a bit worse than what the reality is at the moment. Bitcoin is more or less flat. So $121,500. ETH is also flat. Although, yeah, it is flat in the end. It's kind of recovered. It was down much more yesterday. 4.3K is where ETH is at. It's down 3% on the week, though. BNB is down 1% as well. Still up 14% on the week. XRP is flat at $2.80. Solana is flat at $2.20. $220. We have Hyperliquid, which is flat around $44. That is down 10% on the week, though. So again, some pretty aggressive selling of Hyperliquid over the last 7 days. And Sui is up 1%, in contrast with everything else in the majors, up to $3.40. On the meme coin side of things, we have not a huge moving day, to be honest. On the traditional meme coin side, we've got Doge up 1%, Pepe up 1%, Pengu up 1%. We've got SPX up 1% as well. Bonk is flat. WIF is up 2%. Fartcoin is flat. So not a huge amount going on the kind of traditional meme coin side. Useless, which has moved a lot in the last 7 days, up 60% on the week. Bonk Guy's favorite coin on BNB is actually down 6% today, so correcting a little. But I guess the more notable price action here is in these other in a few other coins. One of the headlines today, we're going to talk about Zcash and the privacy narrative. Brett's going to take us through a little bit on the prices, but also just why privacy might be so influential right now on the timeline. Zcash is up 35% to a $3.8 billion FTV. That's already run way more than that over the week. Railgun is also up 90%, another privacy protocol. Whilst simultaneously, the kind of BNB Steam is losing a little bit. Asta's down 10% to $1.60, back to 12.9 bill FTV. And Zora is actually up 70% to 900 mil FTV. So, very sporadic. Hard to play this market at the moment, guys. I would not, taking like really aggressive. That is the most scattergun price report I feel like I've said out loud in a while. Like completely random. Privacy coins up, Zora coin on base up, meme coins flat,
Masari
Majors
coins
flat.
Masari coins.
Masari coins up.
No, so you haven't
Explain.
been following the arc. Yeah. So if you've been watching the timeline, which I haven't been posting because I don't have the energy for it, but I have consumed, you'll see that like Tulip King is a guy who works for Masari, right? He's one of their research analysts, and he's built up a bit of a persona. In these last couple of weeks, he's been really bull posting a couple of tickers, just like really getting after it. And he nailed Zora, caught a lot of shit for it, but now it's like obviously had this big move. Same thing with Zek, same thing with Rail. He's just been like really into all this stuff. So like he's developed a little bit of a aura around him for the time being.
Okay. Yeah, I have noted that. They've definitely got a few more researchers kind of out writing a bunch more stuff as well. So that is noted. So also Litecoin up 11%. So that's one of the headlines we'll talk, kind of mixed in with the rest of the price discussion. And crypto kind of studying, we want to touch on silver breaking all-time high. Legendary will take us through that in a bit. We'll try and make sense of this scattergun market as we get into the rest of the discussion today. Definitely feels like a hard market to play. So we will discuss that shortly. Ledge, anything going on the NFT side?
Yeah, it is a red day for the JPEG bags. Pudgy's down 2%, 9.2 ETH floor. Moonbird's down 7%, 2.88 ETH floor. Bored Ape's down 1%. Millet is down 3.5%. Doodle's down 9%, sliding under a 1 ETH floor. Again, basically a red day on the NFT side, with two notable exceptions from the major collections. One being Azuki up 3.6%, 1.7 ETH floor there. Also green week in total for Azuki's up 18%. And Crypto Dickbut's up 13% at a 1.57 ETH floor.
Okay. Like to see some of that green on the NFT side. Jumping through the roundup pretty fast, we've got Coinbase and MasterCard holding advanced talks to buy stablecoin startup BVNK for around $2 billion. Bybit announces it is the first fully licensed crypto exchange in the UAE. Congrats to them. Monad announces the claim portal will open on October the 14th. I believe that is Tuesday next week. Mark your calendars, with a unique mechanism to fulfill certain tasks under a certain time constraint. I think there's something going on there. I heard that in an interview. Cynthia Loomis previews bill to make Bitcoin transactions free. Base on Hyperliquid announces live streaming platform for Hyperliquid trading. Brett, you're going to start streaming some of these trades as well? Or you're going to get hunted even faster, potentially. This is the thing. You're getting hunted already. Going live while trading on a public perps platform with a big following doesn't sound like
I'm gonna be honest. I dipped my first toe in the water for the like call out a ticker thing. I did it with Pump, and like I won. I won, but people roasted me, man. Like these guys redacted. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Look at the chart, blah 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 blah. Bro, and like Thread guy went on his stream and he was roasting me, and like, so I won. So like I was able to post it the next day. Like,
but you still had to go through.
That was worth it. Yeah, I don't know if that was worth it. Like
the price you paid, for winning.
So I don't I don't know how these traders do it. Like maybe I'll stick to the technical conversations on the timeline, and I'll leave the charting for the modern market group.
I don't know. It's good, man. I think you're doing really well at it, to be honest. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you've been saying, it's well thought out. It's structured properly. I know a lot of people in the group are enjoying it. So if it's only in the group, that's also fine. But Right. The rest of the news. Hyperswap DEX on Hyperliquid announces 75% of protocol revenue will be used to buy back and burn the token after TGE. I think that is important, not only because Hyperswap, but because everyone is concerned on Hyperliquid in general that what are people going to do with the tokens? Everyone loves hype too much. Will any tokens on Hyperliquid on the EVM protocols be valuable if everyone wants to sell it for hype? So, they're going to have to do things like Hyperliquid have done, I think. So that's the first indication that protocols on Hyperliquid are going to be thinking about buying back their own token with fees. And in other news, mostly on the NFT side, actually, this is an interesting set. Good Vibes Club announces Vibe Strategy will actually serve as its own ecosystem's native token. So instead of having their own token, the strategy token is their token, and that has meant that they have been far more valuable than the teams that have a strategy token and their own token in addition, which is something that I think all teams are going to have to navigate. Doodles announces a partnership with Universal Horror. That's pretty cool. And on the art side, I do like this one. Final Art Blocks Curated Edition live for bidding. It's called Quine by Lava Labs, who are obviously the creators of CryptoPunks and Autoglyphs. So a pretty historic day for that final Art Blocks Curated Edition. For people who don't know, these Art Blocks Curated Editions were the ones that were the most highly sought after, collectible, top of the range art blocks NFTs back in 2021 is where all the kind of mania took place. Still very expensive. People think, okay, fine, NFTs have crashed, but they're still expensive to collect a lot of them en masse. So this is a pretty cool way to go out, having the creators of CryptoPunks create your final editions. So that is the roundup, guys. We're going to get into a bit of a discussion on that, some of the bits there, as well as the headlines. But before we do that, I must mention that today we're excited to be sponsored by Yeet, of course, our partner, the crypto casino that's done hundreds of millions of volume in the last few months. You're all very familiar with them by now. We have a Yeet board. We have been doing giveaways for months with them. At this point, we've given thousands of dollars. Have we given thousands of dollars? Yeah, I think we have. Just going to say random numbers. We've given thousands of dollars away over the last couple of months that we have been partnered, and it's going to continue. So today is our giveaway day. We'll be giving away another $500 to one of our participants on the Yeet board. And just a reminder that we have a live competition going on where Yeet are doing Big Moments Day of the Dead. It's the Big Moments competition. We have been pitted against FOMO Hour, the other prominent live show by the Rug Radio guys, including Mando himself, and we're against them. So it's our Yeet board against their Yeet board. Whoever produces the most volume will not necessarily go through. There's going to be a dice roll at the end, and it's kind of weighted. If you produce way more volume, you've got a far greater chance of going through. And there's prize pools at the end of it. So if we go through, our community will get 2K. It will get distributed to our Yeet board. If we go through again, I think it's 4K. If we go through again, I think it's 8K. By standard, these winnings are 50-50 between the streamers and the community. We're just going to give it all to the community if we go through. So that is if we win. 100% of whatever is in the prize pool will go to the people on our leaderboard. So that is that. We'll give away our normal $500 at the end of today's show. So glad to announce that. Shout out to Yeet for providing. Before we hit the headlines then, boys, anything catching your attention from the rest of the market?
For me, there's Coinbase MasterCard to buy BVNK for around $2 billion. These credit card competitions that we're seeing right now in crypto.
This is a good trend to be aware of.
Yeah, I think we're looking at one thing only, which is the competition between like the Web3 native cards with all of the competitors from Plasma to Cos to Nexo, Crypto.com, and all the Texas who also have their own card. But then you obviously have the established players, MasterCard, Visa, who are experimenting with stablecoin rails, are experimenting with payment in stablecoins already, have massive funds and budgets to buy the tech that they want to buy if they like it. And they already have the distribution. So there's going to be the existing cards, the existing neobanks will want to be part of that battle, and I feel like it's going to be a pretty intense one. And the amount of like new card products that are being launched on the timeline and have been launched this year is insane.
I completely agree. I can feel it in my bones that there's like something big is taking place in that environment. I'm not sure if I think it is investable, so we can start to form a view. Obviously, most recently, Plasma has come to market with this Plasma One product, which is their card, which is going to be their neobank style way for you to be able to pay for using your stablecoins anywhere in the world. Before them, there's EtherFi, which has a pretty successful card built, I believe, entirely on Ethereum, where has a very healthy cashback program for all of the spending that you do, spending your stables. You can have ETH, you can borrow against your ETH and spend what you borrow rather than even spending any of your core ETH. So like
I want to
this
say
trend
that
is
actual
happening.
product is on Scroll. That might, I don't know if that's technically accurate. I'm pretty sure the transactions are on Scroll.
Interesting. Okay. That is noted. But I think, yeah, there's something going on in this the payments ecosystem, the proliferation of people wanting to get you as their kind of as a bank user. Basically, people are going after the banks now. This is a direct thing where it's like, okay, take all of your stablecoins and let us be the way that you use them in the real world. That is the thing that is going to be happening in the next 6 months. If you haven't already signed up to one of these original providers, Brad, have you given much thought to this idea yet? Like this, because I can feel it. There's a lot coming to market. They've already had some. They are getting priced pretty valuably because it's an attack on the banking system in some ways. So do you have any thoughts on this? It's kind of early maybe, but
yeah, I mean, so my mind goes to, okay, what's going to be valuable? How can I position? Right. So in that world, it's hard for me to understand the comps, right? I haven't done the research to either traditional banking, like traditional credit cards, how valuable those things are. I know from a pure infrastructure perspective, it doesn't appeal to me. And when I say that, I mean like, what kind of volume and activity is this going to drive on chain? Like that doesn't get me excited, frankly. I think that's going to be really dispersed. Those are low value transactions. Like that's not something that I think is like necessarily something that is going to be a value driver. For an ecosystem. It's effectively just like having a bot running transfers back and forth on the back end that has 100,000 TPS. Like who gives a shit? Like you want actual activity where people are paying to get in top of block on like a swap or whatever. Like that's what creates the splash effect of economic activity that people are excited for. Now maybe the cards have like downstream effects of just like all being onto a singular chain, and like therefore you have a good DeFi ecosystem. Therefore, and like that creates it. But that's just second, third, fourth order stuff that I can't price in right now. But yeah, like there is actually another card that I saw on, it's like a startup that's pitched by Base that just launched and people were bull posting it. I didn't buy it. I didn't look into it, but they were trying to show me some comps. So that gave me some like frame of reference for how valuable this stuff can actually be. I'll have to do some more research and come back to you guys, but I don't have a current strong opinion right now on like how valuable this stuff is. It feels really dispersed, like from the outside in. It's just like there's a lot of these things. I don't understand how they could be that valuable, to be honest, relative to all the other stuff we're talking about.
And it feels like you have to package a few things together in order to achieve a much higher valuation. So EtherFi I'm looking at right now, I don't know if you can pull that one up, is around a 1.5 bill FDV. A lot is circulating though, to be fair to them. It's 800 mil market cap. So it's pushing more than 50% circulating. And as far as I can tell, they've executed really, really well over time. Like, sure, there's been VC sell pressure, which is, they're entitled to sell because they invested in the product. But to still be able to hold that price, I think they've done a bunch of really good stuff, and people like the product. Like in the end, if you have a good product, you can weather some of that stuff.
How is it a value driver though? So like I think maybe mechanistically, that's the thing that is like still confusing to me. Why are people using an EtherFi card charging low value transfer transactions? Why is that valuable to EtherFi the token? I don't see or understand the picture there to be able to even try to put in a model for how valuable that makes EtherFi the token.
I've got a feeling there's some kind of staking mechanism. I can't remember 100%.
I can speak to Nexa, which is quite similar. Okay. Because it also has this mechanism of being able to borrow against your stables, which is makes the true credit, or against your crypto, even BTC ETH, makes it a true credit card. And that is attractive for people like myself who have this situation that if you borrow against crypto and pay back in crypto, you never cashed out, you never incurred capital gains. That is multiple jurisdictions who work like that. And to be able to do that and to be able to earn the highest rates on the app, for Nexo specifically, you need to keep 10% of your balance in Nexo tokens.
Interesting.
But then I earn 14% on stables. Then I have interest-free loans. And obviously, they now have even introduced an offer where you can basically borrow to buy a house against your stables, BTC, etc., interest-free. So the bet there is that they accumulate a user base that's big enough, that will get wealthier over time, that will love these benefits enough to keep buying more Nexo tokens to maintain that. And if this is the bet, then basically the like popular credit cards token should kind of grow with the market if you have to lock up to keep that benefit tier. And that's kind of what we see with ETHFI, up 14% on the year, Nexo up 30% on the year. That's what we've seen with Crypto.com, who had the same concept last cycle. It was like going with the market. So if it's just a credit card play and you basically force people to hold, stake, whatever, enough tokens, and you bet on them getting wealthier, then these tokens should basically kind of move in line with the market. And then you have external things happening which will influence them. But that's kind of the base rate that I assume for them when I look at them.
Yeah, so hearing that makes me think, okay, we can immediately track this stuff closer to TVL. If we can quantify the amount of stables these guys are hosting, and if that is an up-only trend, then we can say, okay, the amount of buy pressure could potentially correlate because people need to keep 10% of that TVL in stables in Nexo. That could be like perceived as buy pressure. Okay. But then I also go to, it's reminds me of the model for a lot of these exchange tokens, right? We just got done talking about Mantle. Mantle is a very similar thing where it's like, hey, like your volume, your tier, your VIP, your requires you to acquire more of the Mantle token so that Bybit can give you additional benefits for the thing. The thing that I like, as I compare these two things, it makes me want to buy the exchange token, because thinking about the future that we're heading towards and not many people wanting to actually have stables, right? You want to have gold, you want to do whatever. It's like people are trying to minimize the actual unproductive capital that they have in stables.
It's like spend your gold in Walmart. Don't worry, we'll facilitate that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it's hard for me to envision like people accumulating dollars in a large amount. I'm sure you were probably one of those people where you keep the minimum amount to survive plus maybe a little bit more for like safety purposes in that Nexo account so that you can like use the thing. It's useful, but not to like store your net worth. And I think yeah. So like net worth / greed, which is like what I'm using as a proxy for exchange tokens. Like people on exchanges are greedy, right? They want to do more volume because it means more money, because it means. And if they're doing that, then I perceive those to go much higher than someone trying to keep a checking account. So like,
yeah. Okay. I like this discussion. I think it's definitely something to think on as more of these card products come to market and people are operating as pseudo banks, neobanks, whatever you want to call them. It's definitely something that's going to proliferate. It's going to proliferate. So let's keep an eye on it. Let's get into the main headlines then, though. Today, again, the headlines are a reflection of the market right now. It's very, very scattergun. So I don't know if we need to go through these things one by one. It's basically just a collection of crazy things that are happening in terms of price. We have silver going through all-time high. Crypto is steady. Zcash on the privacy narrative is ripping through, and Litecoin has decided to rip also. So let's start with the more general roundup. Ledge, you're going to take us through what's going on with silver, maybe just the rest of the markets, S&P and stuff as well. And then we reflect on all the other stuff.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Let's take a look at the precious things first. We have the gold price, which crossed 4K yesterday, corrected down pretty quickly, and is up again another %, basically almost back to 4K. But the star of the day is, as you said, silver being up 3%, completely also outperforming gold over the year. We'll get into these numbers in a second. Crossing $50, which is all-time high. It's not all-time high if you look at it inflation adjusted. Then all-time high was like decades ago. Pull up the chart in a second as well. What is the total market cap of silver? Just to put that into perspective, that it's roughly at 2.7 trillion. So if we look at silver's up. That comes from article on Barron's. 70% almost on the year. Gold is up 54%. A lot of that is driven by the AI craze, semiconductors, chips, etc. A lot of them use silver. There is obviously mass production of those chips, and as you have this AI bubble growing bigger and bigger, and then you have gold pumping, and often when gold pumps, you have other precious metals, especially silver, move as well. You have these two drivers that are pumping the silver price. I mentioned the historical chart. This is the inflation adjusted one, and actually inflation adjusted, we had an all-time high of $200 per troy ounce of silver in 1980, so 45 years ago, just to have that put out there, put that in perspective. And that's it for the silver part. Silver is something that analysts remain bullish. You have HSBC saying they think it could go as high as 53 this year, go as high as 56 next year, 55 next year. They also make the argument that part of the raise is coming from gold, quoting that a strong gravitational pull on silver is the result of that, and the other part then is driven by this AI craze. Because you mentioned the S&P 500, let's take a look at that as well. S&P is down yesterday, down 0.3%. It's still green over the week. It's still up 0.3%. Nothing too exciting happening on that end. I mean, I say that, but we're essentially trading almost at all-time high, which is exciting. But there's no big intraday or daily move.
Okay. Any specific updates on? I mean, we spoke about this yesterday, of complete personal exhaustion when it comes to the markets being this high all the time. Obviously, the market doesn't necessarily care about our individual personal situations, and the fact that we've been in the market from the bear market, like seeing all of these rises, seeing really significant gains. Like the market does not care about your individual perspective, but it feels very scattergun is the way I've described today's show. Yesterday we spoke about like, okay, well, everything's at all-time high. It feels like a nice place to take some insurance. That's the way I phrase stuff, and I like the idea of putting on shorts here just for insurance purposes, holding the core spot stuff that I like a lot. What do you make of the scattergun stuff though, Legendary? Like pushing the conversation into what we're going to talk about, like Zcash pumping, which it has done in previous cycles towards the end, Litecoin pumping, which it has done in previous cycles towards the end. So, one coin on base pumping, but then other things being BNB, then, the BNB season seemingly taking a pause while these other things move. How are you making sense of the scattergun thing? What's that a reflection of?
Yeah, there's two scatterguns going on. There's the one in traditional markets, which is the trend and narrative which we spoke about, which is people don't want to hold dollars, they want to hold everything else other than dollars. Obviously, you have the national banks buying more and more gold, stockpiling. Oh, I can hear an echo. Stockpiling more and more gold, and you have this massive AI trend, and there will be like second order effects for specific stocks, for stuff like silver. That's on the one hand. In crypto, however, I feel like I can't, my impression, let's put it like that. My impression is that if I look on the timeline, people are depressed. BTC is at all-time high, basically. It's off a couple grand, but it's at all-time high. People are depressed. Every survey that I see, including the ones I do myself, is your portfolio at all-time high? Most people, it is not. And the traditional things that they would have played and dabbled on, and how they thought an altcoin season will play out, and the things that will move haven't moved. And then you had like these individual things, CZ coming out and pumping Aster, doing a quick BNB season, ending that to have his own launch pad. And I feel like kind of the desperation is growing a bit, and then we're like going left, right, and center to find new plays and new things to throw money at. And on top of that, as like we mature, the crypto ecosystem is like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's like many more things to to revisit. If you look at the privacy thing, you have Rail, you have Veil on Base, which was also a thing last year when Base had Base Summer. So as ecosystems grow and become more and more of them, people will have more tokens to revisit. Once there's again a privacy meta in 2028, we'll have 500 more chains, and people remember that on this layer 4 there was this privacy coin which actually did pretty well. So let's get back to that as well. So this is where I feel like that the scattergun, as the ecosystem grows, will become more prevalent and prominent as well.
Okay, Brad, what do you think?
So I agree with Legendary. The shit's growing. Like, you're gonna constantly have to revisit a lot of these things because the capital is so efficient in this space and so flighty, the mercenary capital, that like everything is gonna catch a bid because humans can, at the click of a button, buy into this thing that is had a moment in the sun 3 years ago, and it's a wild theory, but it literally just takes one click these days to go from LP position on Solana to buying into Veil on Base, right? It takes basically nothing. So there's that. I agree with him. The second thing is, like, I think we talked about it yesterday on our Wednesday on the call, but I'm also mindful of Bitcoin gold ratio, or I want to be more educated on this ratio, because people are talking about toppy all-time highs. People don't know what's going on or what's coming. My predisposition right now is that I still just think it's going to melt up when I look at like the macro things at play, and it's just the debasement trade is on. We're talking about it here with everyone wants assets, like, and if you extrapolate that, where everyone is buying into gold is screaming to all-time highs. It has pulled away from the digital gold equivalent, which is Bitcoin, right? And looking now at the ratio, trying to pull up a few charts. I haven't had to do this in the past, so I'm kind of doing it on the fly. But like, looking at what we've had over the last year and a half, the ratio has peaked at 31 back in 24, and then right around 40 earlier or late last year, and then a couple months ago, beginning of this year, was in the 34 range, and we're down to about a 30 on the ratio. And typically, our last time we bottomed at the ratio was around 25. So I anticipate, and I'm already starting to hear chatter of people who are macro traders who are saying gold feels hot. I want to go to this next thing, which is digital gold. They're macro traders that are comfy with Bitcoin as the hard asset equivalent in the digital world. And they're like, I'm starting to solve a little gold for my Bitcoin here. And I think we constantly are going to see this rotation between players on the global scale that are buying the gold, and then once gold feels like it broke away from what Bitcoin was keeping up with, we'll sell some of that off into Bitcoin. And everyone just wants to own very hard things these days, and I don't see that changing over the next 3 to 6 months. So for me, it's just, I think it's going to continue to happen, and that's kind of how I'm positioning myself. So trying not to get blown up in the interim, and trying to position for what will be a melt up.
I like it. And actually, we spoke on the show yesterday how I think technically it classified as a country, although we announced it as the first intergenerational fund in Europe of Luxembourg, which I guess is a offshoot of the kind of sovereign fund there, putting 1% of its assets into the Bitcoin ETF. And so the key thing maybe that has always made me a little bit reluctant is, in general across the crypto majors at the moment, is like, who's the next buyer? Who's the next bit? We've had a huge amount of institutional demand come in. Like, we've had that now. And sure, some of them are still trying to get more. MicroStrategy is still trying to get more, but it's kind of been a bit muted recently. They haven't bought in this latest move from 100 something to 120. That wasn't MicroStrategy. Tom Lee's kind of, he's been buying more for sure, but that's kind of exhausted. Sharplink Gaming, SBET is, I don't know, there's kind of unable to deploy more firepower. It's almost like they need the price to go up in order to raise more, in order to deploy more. So I think that's always been one of my concerns. And I think we're running out of more people to buy, unless
Nation states.
you're able to unlock some of these 1% of funds of some European country, some Asian country, some like, you know, I think those dominoes ideally would start to get knocked down, because I think people in this industry are tapped out at this point. Like the people who own it. And then look, they're going off chasing other things, right? Everyone's liquidity is going off and chase. Two things is happening. One, they're chasing every other thing. So we did BNB season. We're doing perps, by the way. And I keep saying this about perps. I haven't heard anyone else say this. Everyone always reacts really bullishly for Hyperliquid about the idea that, okay, it's been integrated into Rainbow, it's been integrated into MetaMask, it's been integrated into Rabby. Okay, so your users in those places are going to lose their money. And then there will be no more continued use because they'll just lose their money. And this, I think, is what is going to happen a lot. And people are going to get zeroed out in a market which is getting hotter and hotter and things keep moving. We just said, like, trying to trade monad on pre-market has been very, very difficult, even if you thought that it was undervalued at a particular time. If you didn't get it at the exact time, you then enter the short a little bit late and then it pumped for no reason. Like, this is a really hard market to move in. Okay, you missed privacy coins. What are you going to do? Go and buy Zcash now? Maybe, but I don't know. It's a hard one. You pile into BNB season, 7 hours too late, and you're down like 80% across the board. Like, this is a risky period of time, and I'm definitely being more cautious, or taking very risk adjusted. If you want to take the risk, but it's certainly not with big parts of my portfolio anymore. It's like trying to be cautious. Brett, did you want to come back there? I thought you were thinking something.
Yeah, whenever you talk about the pool of capital that can potentially be lost by exposing people to this new financial primitive, the perps stuff, my initial reaction is still that our market's so small that, like, the pool is so big to tap into that it doesn't really scare me, right? And, like, example being, all the on-chain volume right now for perps is 10% of the SEX volume, which is, X% of the people outside of crypto doing options trading, which is Y% of whatever. So, like, and options trading, meme coining, shit coining, all this stuff has existed and will continue to exist and is growing in demand over the last, since 2021 is what I'm thinking. Like, whenever Wall Street bets really started popping off and options became a normal thing that everyone started playing in because it's degen future, and more and more and more and more people are trying to bid into this stuff. So then you go, okay, these people, yes, they're willing participants to tap into it. And then you look at the future, and where's that money going to come from? I know people are getting squeezed. I keep seeing back and forth on the timeline of, like, all my friends are broke, all my friends are wealthy, depending on which class you actually like belong in. I've seen both of those over the last week, and hearing some forecasts for the future and what, like, the American government will do, and potentially stimmies are on the horizon. Like, if that happens, bros, like, yeah, it's going to be degen future for the next 6 months, and it's going to be ridiculous, just the same way it was in COVID. Whether or not they do that on the back of a COVID inflationary period, I don't know. But, we have those potential headwinds, or not headwinds, but tailwinds in front of us. And so I'm not worried about, like, everyone losing their money. Like, it's a degenerate future, and people are just going to keep making more money to keep spending more money. The lottery has been around for a long ass time. People are still buying into the lottery. I just got reminded a week ago that, it's up to $25 billion. You should go buy some stuff, because it's just human nature to perpetually, like, do this stuff. It's just what we do. And I don't see that going away. So, like, that doesn't concern me. I think if the product is good and the product is appealing and the product is calling to us, I think it will continue to proliferate, because it is on a human level appealing.
Okay. I think, yeah, that's a reasonable take. What do you think about the privacy stuff then, Brad? Final take before because, as I said, it's pretty scattergun market today. Going to the privacy thing, what do you think about it as it relates to Zcash and Railgun? Why are those prices moving, in your opinion?
I think it's a trade. Like, we've talked about them today. Like, the reason I say it's a trade is because humans are lazy, and humans will not do the thing that is necessarily best for them. They will do the thing that is convenient for them. And although the idealistic future of everything is private, we're all living in this world, we're all using Zcash because it's Bitcoin, but private, it's a glorified thing. Like, these blockchains need actual activity to be valuable, right? Like, outside of Bitcoin, which is gold, you need to actually like use the thing for it to be valuable. Everything outside of Bitcoin is like that. And I just don't see humans opting into this secondary thing because it benefits them or sounds idealistic, whenever the convenient thing is a phantom wallet with a perp button right there on their phone. I don't see the secondary thing happening, because it requires, okay, well then I got to send my stuff from the cool thing, which is Pump Fun, or it's the football.fun, or the whatever thing, the consumer app Euphoria. I have to now send this thing over to Zcash so I can shield my transaction so that I can send it over to a friend because I want to do that. And it's like, they'll say, no, I'll just try to obfuscate it by sending a few transactions on the chain that I'm on, and then I'll forward it. So while I think it is a great thing that we have available to us, and I think privacy is important, and I think it is a right, and I think people are lazy at the same time. And for that reason, I think it will not sustain any kind of meaningful usage. And if it doesn't have meaningful usage as a blockchain, it will eventually go back to zero.
It's such a shame that we've got to this position in crypto where maybe we're so aware of the realistic market dynamics. So we're like, yeah, we like it. We like the principles. We like the ethos, but no one's going to use it, and therefore it will go back down. So I mean, I'm kind of in that camp, and that's what I'm thinking too. How high this goes, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to step in front of it.
Yeah, like, do you what's the opposite of catching a falling knife? This is
It's like
trying to get
the lasso around the rocket.
Yeah, the lasso around a rocket or something. Yeah, like you can try, but the energy in the rocket might have already evaporated. So let's see.
Then you don't want to be strapped to a rocket without rocket fuel. That's just going down, and you will get hurt.
There we go. That's the right analogy. Lad, do you want to come in on the privacy thing, or should we go to Funky? He's got his hand raised.
Let's get Funky.
Funky, welcome to the stage, my man. What is your take on the kind of privacy narrative that we are experiencing at the moment?
Jim gang, I do agree with Brad largely that this is a current trade and a meta, but I will also say I think privacy is going to become increasingly important in blockchain in a big way. Canton network, which doesn't get talked about on the timeline, something we run multiple nodes for. This is really for big TradFi bros and sort of bespoke transactions between banks where they can send things without having anybody front run their trades and whatnot. Also Midnight Network, which was incubated by IOG. They don't call it privacy, they call it data protection. Their big target market is banks in the developing world. And so I think privacy as a blockchain technology, or these shielded transactions, are going to become increasingly important as we go into the future, putting aside the current meta around Zcash and a hot trade and everything else like that. But I think it is something that we have to pay attention to, because it will become increasingly important as TradFi adopts these rails.
Go on, Brad. Did you want to?
Yeah, if you haven't thought, dude, I'll bookend.
I really like that take. I was speaking with Funky's colleague at Global Stake, David, just the other day, and learning a little bit more about Cantor. I think one of the reasons we think privacy is not important in this space, or we don't think it has any uptake, or people don't care, is because retail and the people on crypto Twitter end up not caring and the prices don't move. My understanding is there are trillions of dollars going through on Cantor, on the institutional side, and it's privatized, and you don't know who's doing what, and it's got the requisite privacy that is required. Definitely something to look into more. I haven't seen anyone on crypto Twitter talking about it. It's happening on the corporate side. It can potentially be very, very valuable. It is very, very valuable. But in the same way that normal people don't care about their privacy when they sign up for Facebook for free, and then they give them all the permissions. Okay, institutions will take it more seriously, and that's where the money is anyway. Well, actually, there's money in both. There's money in B2C, but they won't care about privacy, and there'll be money in B2B, and those people will maybe take it more seriously. And I think maybe that distinction is the one that's worth bringing up. Brad, you wanted to bookend this, and then we'll
Yep.
get to our giveaway today.
Yeah, I'll take it separately. Then I actually found out I have a hard stop, so I'll do that and I'll cut. Yeah, so my thing is the ever important, why the hell do you need the token thing? So it's like,
Oh,
and
I'm going to ask
not
that
you-
question, are you?
Not, yeah, and it's not that, like, of course it's a blockchain, you require a token to operate the network, all that stuff, but it is the same problem that people have had with Ethereum, which again, it's a, $600 billion protocol, $500 billion protocol. So like, that doesn't mean it's not valuable and it can't get to a very high valuation. So like, that's the consideration. But the current headwinds Ethereum has right now is Ethereum, the technology is a very great thing that offers a lot of these very valuable properties to you. Why do you need ETH, the token, right? ETH is decentralized, therefore it allows for this truly neutral third party to govern exchanges, host DeFi, all this stuff. Amazing. I do not need to hold Ethereum, the token, to participate in all that stuff, to do the stable coins on top of Ethereum. And therefore you limit the actual requirement or the upper bound of what this thing can actually do. Because at the end of the day, like, why do I need to acquire a shit ton of ZEC if I'm trying to just use the privacy properties that it provides to me? Like, I don't need that. I can move all of my stables or all of my whatever assets that it supports. I do not need to run that through ZEC, the token. So if I, as an institution with $500 billion to whatever, and I need to transfer it through ZEC, I buy $7 of it and I still can do $700 billion of like transfers on this thing. Awesome. It's not a lot of buy pressure for something like that.
You don't get a more private transaction by owning more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Ethereum. I can buy one Ethereum. I don't get more decentralization properties because I have that one Ethereum while I'm doing my DeFi. Does not matter. I can do all of the DeFi stuff with enough Ethereum for the gas, or in, like, if I'm BUIDL fund, I'm only exchanging dollars every 3 months, right? They don't actually transact a lot. I don't need to hold Ethereum on the bank for that, or on the asset ledger for that. It's just my problem. But I got to go. That's my last note. Good luck, whoever wins the Yeet giveaway.
Thank you very much, man. Very reasonable take. We'll catch you on the other side. Let's get to our giveaway for today. We're excited to be sponsored by Yeet. Of course, today, the crypto casino that's done hundreds of millions of dollars of volume in the last few months, founded by trusted names like Mando, KBM, and pro poker player Ban Lam. We've been partnered with them for a few months. We're doing these giveaways every single week for the last couple of months, giving away thousands of dollars to date to people on our Yeeter board. Legendary. How are things looking today? We're going to do two things. In fact, I'll pass over to you in a second to do the actual giveaway. We've obviously had a ton of volume and activity, and we'll be picking a winner of $500 in just a moment. But just again, to draw your attention to the latest competition, which is the Big Moments competition, where everyone, all the streamers, all the shows, all the newsletter writers who have partnered with Yeet have been pitted against another creator in some way. We're scrolling all the different names you see here, and the competition started yesterday. Basically, if you win this head-to-head battle over the next 5 days, one of the entities moves forward into the next battle, and accumulating a $2,000 prize pool in the process. And then if you win the next one, I think it's 4,000. If you win the next one, it might be a little bit higher. Keeps going like that. Typically, the default is set to 50% of the winnings going to the streamers or the creators, and 50% going to the community. We are going to dedicate all of the prize pool, if we win, to our Yeet board for the people who are participating and getting involved. At the moment, Legendary, what is the setup? What do we need to do to turn this around? It's looking pretty healthy. It's not unhealthy for sure. FOMO, I've got a little bit of a faster start here. What are we looking at?
Yeah, absolutely. We are up against FOMO. As you said, we have since yesterday done quite a lot of volume. We've done 37K. FOMO has done almost double that at 73K, but they're also a serious competitor. In many of the other matchups, our 37K would be a very, very strong lead. That is that on the Big Moment side. On the Yeeter board side, we had I think the strongest week since we have this board running. Total of 100K in volume from 27 players. J Miles leading that with 36K almost of volume.
J Miles is back. I think he had a little bit of a break at one point. Good to see.
So what I did for the giveaway, and basically took the top 12. They got an extra entry. Everyone has one entry. The top 12 got an extra one. And then on top of that, every 5K of volume that you did also gives you one extra entry each. So these are the 3 layers that I came up with. We said it multiple times. We changed the rules. I change the rules every week. I think of something cool to have still an incentive to do volume, but not to basically do the same thing every time. I think it's more fun like that and less predictable like that. And what we also changed, second time we're doing this now, we don't do the limbo spins anymore. Limbo GCR is banned from playing and spinning. We just go to the wheel of names, we spin, and the winner takes away $500 for the weekend.
Let's do it. So we're going to see the thing. And then if you want to participate in this competition that we're in at the moment, Legendary, once he's finished with the spins, we'll just share the referral link in the comments.
It's already in the comments. I am
don't even need to stress about it. If you want to get involved, the link is there. Let's press the button, Ledge, and find out who is this week's winner.
All right, let's do it. Wheel is spinning.
Damn, it feels like there's a lot of names today, as you said. Probably.
Is it stopping? Looked like Jamal, but moved over last minute to Jaden.
Jaden is the winner. Jaden, if you're in our Telegram group, make sure you reach out. Let us know what your just reach out to us. Get in touch. Make sure we know who you are. You should be in our Telegram group, I suspect. Congratulations on your win. We will send out the $500 shortly. Right, Ledge? Is that the process?
Yes, it is. Jaden did $55 of volume. Was pretty lucky with one single entry to win against the big whales on this wheel.
Sometimes that happens. I quite like how I think we've had a different winner every single week, right? Yeah. We haven't actually had the same person win twice yet, which is good. We keep switching up the roles. I do think the people who have done the most volume have also won at some point, which is good also, because we don't want to. It's good to get them to see them get the victory. But yeah, you're definitely in with a chance, even with a less amount. So that's good to see.
Jaden is happy in the YouTube comments. LFG.
Congrats, Jaden. Let's get it up. Where is he? Is he in the thing? Here we go. In the YouTube comments. There we go. Good to see. Congrats, Jaden. Reach out to us in Telegram. We'll get that all sorted. And for everyone else, just a reminder, we do this every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, live on X Video, YouTube, and you can catch us on Apple and Spotify too. We will be back same time next week on Monday. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. See you on the other side. Bye-bye.